courtroom was unusually crowded on a rainy Monday morning when the clerk called out case number 24CV9817, a civil liability case involving an eye-catching amount that immediately silenced the room, $2.8 million, an amount so large that even seasoned court staff exchanged quiet looks, because cases like this rarely appeared in a courtroom known more for traffic tickets and small claims. Yet on this day, standing before the bench was Daniel Rivera, a 46-year-old former city contractor. With tired eyes and a trembling voice, accused of gross negligence, fraud, and breach of public trust after a city infrastructure project collapsed, both financially and physically, leaving the city demanding the full recovery of funds plus penalties, while Daniel stood alone, without a lawyer, clutching a worn folder that held not legal arguments but medical bills, old photographs, and handwritten notes. And as Judge Caprio looked down from the bench, he did not see a criminal mastermind but a man clearly carrying a heavy burden, and he began the hearing calmly, asking Daniel to explain what happened. And Daniel took a deep breath and told a story that slowly transformed the courtroom from a place of judgment into a place of human reckoning, explaining that 5 years earlier he had won a city contract to renovate an aging pedestrian bridge in a low-income neighborhood, a project valued at $2.8 million, meant to provide safe access for schoolchildren and elderly residents, and initially everything went according to plan until midway through construction when Daniel's wife was diagnosed with late-stage leukemia, a diagnosis that turned his life upside down overnight, draining not only his emotional strength but his finances as insurance refused to cover experimental treatments, and faced with impossible choices, Daniel admitted that he diverted project funds temporarily. His words emphasized temporarily, to pay hospital bills, believing he would replace the money once the project resumed full funding, but fate did not wait for repayment, because during that period, supply prices skyrocketed, subcontractors backed out, and a series of storms damaged partially completed structures, eventually leading to a structural failure that forced the city to shut the bridge down completely, triggering an investigation that uncovered the missing funds. And while the prosecution painted Daniel as a greedy contractor who abused public trust, the evidence revealed a more complex truth. No lavish spending, no hidden assets, no offshore accounts, only medical invoices totaling over $1.9 million, a wife who ultimately passed away, and a man who sold his home, his truck, and even his late father's watch to try to make things right. Yet the law remained unforgiving, because misuse of public funds, regardless of motive, carried severe financial penalties, and the city demanded full restitution plus interest, fines, and a lifetime ban from public contracts, bringing the total liability to nearly $3.4 million, an amount Daniel could never repay in several lifetimes. And as the city's attorney requested immediate judgment, Judge Caprio leaned forward and asked a simple question that shifted everything. Did anyone get hurt when the bridge failed? And the answer came quietly: no fatalities, no injuries, because Daniel himself had ordered the site closed days before the collapse after noticing stress fractures, a decision that cost him more delays but saved lives. And the courtroom felt the weight of that moment, because negligence rarely comes with conscience, and yet here it stood, and Judge Caprio requested a recess to review additional documents, and when court resumed, he addressed not just Daniel but the entire courtroom, explaining that justice is not blind to context, nor is mercy blind to accountability, and he acknowledged that public money must be protected, that trust must matter, but he also stated that punishment without understanding becomes cruelty, and in a rare move, he restructured the judgment entirely, reducing punitive fines, separating criminal intent from human desperation, and instead of issuing a crushing multi-million-dollar judgment that would destroy Daniel's remaining life, he ordered a restitution plan tied to income, a permanent lien only on future public contract profits, not personal survival, and required Daniel to contribute his engineering skills to city safety reviews at no cost for 10 years, effectively turning punishment into service, accountability into restoration, and despair into purpose. And when the final order was read, the city still recovered funds, public safety was strengthened, and a broken man was not completely erased by his worst decision. And as Daniel wiped tears from his face, Judge Caprio delivered words that echoed far beyond the courtroom. You broke a rule, but you didn't break your soul. This court does not exist to finish people off, it exists to correct the course. And as the gavel struck, the spectators rose in quiet respect, because they had witnessed something rare. Not the avoidance of justice, but its evolution, where multi-million-dollar case ended not in destruction, but in responsibility, humanity, and hope.